Hi, everybody. There we go. Hey, B, Kiki Soul, bye, Kiki Soul. Hey, quadruple X trouble. Give me a quick second, y'all. I'm sharing this video to my group on Facebook, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into the topic of tonight, giving yourself permission to play bigger, because I have a lot to say on that. So for those of you guys that know me, know that I have a ton of things to say about that. And I always like to tell my personal story as well as give you guys some practical tips about how you can apply it to your own life. So give me 1 second. I am sharing this video and sharing it to my group. And this is why you need like an admin to be doing this at the same time. And I'll do that next week. Hey, Mechanesis, this is your first time. All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and get started. It's just shared. So I know that a few of my folks are going to hop on in a few minutes. But first, who am I? I am Aaliyah Mims, and I am an educational leadership coach. And what I do a variety of things. The main thing that I do is I help people up-level their leadership in the educational setting. So that might be, how do you move up the career rank from teacher to dean or vice principal to become a principal. I also help new principals to be able to walk fully in their power. A lot of times as people are new leaders, they are still very much used to doing everything themselves, and they're not used to having a team. They're not used to the ways that maybe their micromanagement or their perfectionism is getting in the way. So I help those leaders to be able to truly lead a team. And then I also help people who are looking to leverage their talents as entrepreneurs, because they have a skill, they have a talent, especially educators, that they have not figured out how to monetize, or they didn't realize that they can monetize. Hey, Empress. Hey, Luberta. Thank you guys so much for joining. I haven't gotten into the topic yet. I'm getting all my devices ready and making sure that everybody can see me. So beyond all of that, if I had to think about a theme that all of those different ways that I work with educational leaders, the main point is that I work with people who are truly trying to change their life, people who are truly ready to walk fully in their passion, their purpose, and in their position. And I provide them coaching services to be able to do that fully, to be able to prosper from that, and to be able to truly have a life of joy and purpose. So that's the nut and bolts of what I do. And if you've been in my Soul Tribe for Leaders over here on Facebook, you know that about the week before New Year, I was working with them about getting clear, getting intentional, and getting real about what their goals and intentions were for 2017. And so we had an awesome week. I know Luberta was there. I know Empress was there. And we had a really powerful week talking about, what is really holding us back from being successful? What does it really mean for us to, hey, Zonia, what does it really mean to set goals? Is setting goals really just about money, or is it about positioning? What is it that's causing our perfectionism to get in the way, and how perfectionism is really hiding underneath procrastination? So we talked about a whole lot. And if you're interested in any of those recaps, I definitely encourage you to go back to the Soul Tribe and join so that you can have access to that. And so today's topic is about how we need to give ourselves permission to play bigger. And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what I mean by giving yourself permission, and also what some of the lessons were that I've learned along the way, both professional and personal. Hey, Zonia, I'm so glad that you were able to catch me live too. I've been experimenting with different times and different modalities, and I'm going to be coming up with a more concrete schedule now that I go back to work on my day job tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for hopping on and joining me tonight. So, permission. No, I'm not talking about that Ro James song, even though I love Ro James' Permission. What I've noticed, especially as women leaders, is that we are afraid of playing a big game. We're afraid of being too bold with our message, being too bold with our position, and being too bold with our power, because for a few reasons. Hey, Michelle, thank you for joining me here on Periscope. We're afraid of showing up fully because we don't want to appear too masculine. Sometimes we have this idea that being in power is a masculine thing. And, especially as girly girls, or especially for people that might have traditional beliefs about gender, that's scary sometimes to be seen as too masculine. So we're really careful because we don't want to be seen as the bitch, or we don't want to be seen as, what a lot of people were calling Hillary Clinton. Let's just be real. Another reason why we play small is because we don't want to ostracize people or alienate people, especially those people that have come along with us. So they might be friends, it might be family, it might be other people in the business, and we call it being humble. We call ourselves not wanting to truly show up in everything that we can because we think that people are going to say, who does she think she is? They're going to think that, oh, you're too good for me now. I'm still working on ramen noodles and hot dogs, and you over here having filet mignon with the president of the company. And we don't want to ever be accused of forgetting who we are and where we come from. Sometimes we don't give ourselves permission to play a big game because we also worry that people that we care about are going to be not just intimidated by it, but that they're going to leave us. Let's be real. Let's be really real that we don't want to always want to show up powerfully because we think, I don't want to make somebody feel insecure about their own position. I want people to know that I still care and love about them. So if I'm too big or I'm too powerful, then I can jeopardize that. Some other reasons why we don't give ourselves permission. There's still a little girl in us that's waiting for someone to tell us it's okay. Luberta, am I talking about I'm telling y'all, I'm going to tell my own story because you guys know I'm always transparent. There's still a little girl in us that's waiting for someone to tell us it's okay. It's okay to seek out that position. It's okay to write that book. It's okay to start a business. It's okay to ask people to pay you for your services. It's okay. And sometimes we think that until someone tells us specifically that it's okay, then we limit ourselves. And here's the last thing too about why we play small. You guys are ready? Because I'm going to step on some toes. I'm going to step on the toe of every single person that's in here. We like to call ourselves humble. We say, I'm just humble. I'm just always want to, be humble. I don't want to do too much because I'm a humble person, because we somehow think that playing small is humility. It's really not. It's not. That's fake humility because we're intentionally limit ourselves. I'm going to tell you what it really is. It's also sometimes we get these religious beliefs in our head about our position in as women, and we think that we're supposed to play small because that's how we're designed. But I said this all week, and I'm going to say it again, that God does not give us a vision without, one, giving us the security that we can execute on it, and without giving us the tools to be able to execute on it. So God is not going to show up and say, boom, you're a millionaire, boom, you're a life coach, or boom, you have the end result. But instead, there's going to be resources, people, opportunities, and things that are going to come along the way to be able to have you step into it more fully. So I'm giving y'all some real deal tonight. I'm going to tell you about how I have played small and how it showed up in many areas in my life. So I've always been that person that professionally I've played a pretty big game, whether it is becoming a teacher, becoming an instructional coach, becoming a principal, becoming a consultant. It's always been one of those things I felt really, really confident about pursuing because I was fortunate enough to attend a lot of women's schools. So since middle school, I've gone to women's schools. I've gone to all girls middle school, high school, college. I did the whole thing. So it was very normal for me to see women being ambitious and women being playing a big game. And so that was something that just kind of came naturally to me. And one of the things that I realized, though, was that in my relationships, I was not playing big. And I'm going to talk about how the two of those go together because I'm not a relationship coach. If y'all know my story, I'm not going to ever tell anybody how to have a successful, healthy relationship because it's something I'm still learning. So, but I want to talk about the interplay because I see for a lot of women that their interplay, they can't be one without the other. And so in my professional life, I'm showing up, I'm doing all of the things that I'm called to do. But I noticed that when I was in relationships with people, two things happened. Either I was in relationships in the past with people who were not living their full potential. And so as a result, there was a ton of resentment. And I'm not talking about anybody that y'all would know because these are pre-social media relationships. Hey, Anitrice, thank you so much for joining tonight. I'm sorry, let me just pause for a second because I haven't done this in a long time. Am I speaking to anybody here? Or am I just talking about my story? If I'm speaking to anybody here, I need you to go ahead and type a 1 in the comments to say, yes, you talking a little bit about my truth. And if it's not your truth, it's the truth of somebody that you know. So you're going to make sure that you share these nuggets with them. Hey, Arnitrice, I'm so glad that you're joining tonight. So I realized that I was doing 2 things in my relationship. One, I was either choosing people who were not equally ambitious. And notice that I'm saying equally ambitious. I'm not talking about position. I'm not talking about income. I'm not talking about degrees. I'm not talking about any of those things. I'm talking about people who had not given themselves permission to live out fully as well. So they hadn't, they kept talking about what they wanted to do, but they hadn't actually taken the steps to get that done. And so in those relationships, a couple of things started to happen. Either one, they started to show signs of resentment, those snarky, sarcastic comments, or, babe, you doing that again? Babe, yeah, that's cool, that's cute and all, but you don't ever hear them talking about your passion unless, they have to, or unless your family members come around or your girls come around and start talking about what you do, then they're like, yeah, that's my boo, but that's the only time. Again, this is just me, or just me. Or they start criticizing in more overt ways what you're doing. And so then what I would start to notice is that when those things are happening, then I started to decrease my ambition. I started to decrease and play small because I didn't want to offend them. I didn't want to hurt them. And they're people that I cared about. And so I wanted them to feel as important as I thought that they were. So I started to shrink myself. And that was a big thing. So, Michelle, you can relate. And I'm not going to get into all my business because y'all just don't need to know all of that tonight. But I will share this much that I say recently single, but it's been a while. I just haven't wanted to talk about it. I've been single for the last 4 months. So this time last year, I was all over social media saying, I proposed to my ex-wife, we're getting engaged, we're getting married, and, all of this greatness, and things didn't work out. Whew, let me let that sink in, because I didn't think I was ready to tell y'all all that tonight. Oh, well. One of the things, side note, that I've learned, so for those of you guys that are entrepreneurs, I strongly encourage you. I've noticed that when I stop creating a script about my live streams, I speak a lot more authentically, I speak a lot more honestly, and I really just allow spirit to speak through me. And I feel like I have better information. I've noticed that when I have a script, and I used to have like teleprompter type scripts, then I was very stiff and in control and trying to be in control, but I was also trying to make sure I didn't mess up my lines and make sure that I didn't forget this point. And I was so much in my head, I couldn't truly flow and connect with y'all. So I have my points in my head. I know my topics. It's part of my grand scheme, but I no longer script things out. I don't even write it on Post-its because that's just what I do. So all of that to say, I wasn't planning on telling all of that, but it's important, and it's important for this reason. When I became single 4 months ago, it was devastating. It still is hard. I'm not going to pretend that, everything is sunshine and daisies. There's a whole lot of Lemonade, Beyonce, Solange, Cranes in the Sky, and recently Mary J's Thick of It that are just all the way real for me. And I still have those days. And I have the best friends and the best sisters in the world that help me through those days. But what I've noticed, here's a blessing on the other side. When you're single and when you're by yourself, you're single and you're by yourself. That means that all of the stories and lies that you've been telling yourself about, oh, I'm hindering myself because I don't want to intimidate this person or I don't want to upset this person, really are just stories that you tell in your head because you have no other excuses not to play a bigger game. You have nobody stopping you. You have nothing but time and you have nothing but space to truly walk in who you are. And what it made me realize, so a few things, it made me realize that was just really a script I had created in my head. And I noticed that because I was taking a lot more risks than than I have been before. Small things like burning my incense, small things like going out to brunch by myself, small things like I'm planning a trip to Cuba by myself because I can. And it's not because my money is any different. It's just because I've given myself permission to do things that I hadn't given myself permission to. And so what I realized, hey, Xavier, thank you for joining, was that the only person's permission I needed and the only person's permission that I needed to seek was my own. Here I was waiting for someone to tell me, go on that trip, burn that incense, level up in your business. And in reality, I was the only person not getting what I wanted because I hadn't asked for it. It even reminded me back about a little over a year ago, I started working with the coach, and it's a coach that I pay for. I pay my hard-earned money for, and rebranded and started getting clients at a much higher price point than I was before. Before I was really, and this is some more realness. Before, I was primarily making money as a blogger through really inexpensive products. So, $20 books here, these ebook series, these videos, these really inexpensive things. And I was making, decent play money, but I wasn't making money that I can truly have a sustainable life on, because I thought, well, if I charge the 4 figures that I now charge and up, people are not going to want to be on my mailing list anymore. People are not going to want to have my services anymore, and I'm going to alienate my fan base. But the reality was, the people who were for me, and those who weren't. And it was simple as that. And when I started asking for more and being really intentional about what I wanted, then I nailed my first VIP client. Then I was able to start attracting exactly the life that I wanted, because I was able to be honest with myself about the life that I wanted, and I was able to create systems and structures and give myself permission to live more fully. Do you want people to share and invite? Xavier, I would love if you would share and invite. And this is for anybody. If you guys find this information useful, please go ahead and invite your people to it, because this is what I have in my heart. So thank you, Xavier. Thank you, Michelle. Both of them are over there on Periscope, and they shared that out for me. So I realized, hey, Power Ranger A2. Thank you, Liberta. Thank you guys so much for sharing that. Hey, Marco. So I realized that all of this time I had these beliefs about waiting for someone or needing someone's permission, and when in reality, I was the only person's permission that I needed or required. And so when I started to, and so this just recently, when I started to say, hey, I'm the one standing in my way. I'm the one that is not allowing myself to be able to experience the things that I want, then it was just that simple. I started to say, this is what I want. God, what is it that I need to do next? That's a very powerful prayer. Sometimes, and I said this before, sometimes we want to look 3,000 miles down the road and talk about, what's the result? Where do I want to be? And you're asking for that $1 million. And sometimes you need to ask God, what's 150 feet in front of me? And ask, what do I need to do next? What is exactly right in front of me? What's that one thing that's right beyond my comfort zone that I can take in and take a step and do? Ask that prayer. What is the next thing for me to do? And so what I started to do was to ask myself, what's the next thing for me to do? And of course, and I'm not going to share all my business. Y'all already know a whole lot about me now, but things have been starting to happen. I said 2 weeks ago, I said by this first week in January, hey, Michael, I wanted to make sure that I had at least 2 new discovery calls with people. I wanted to be able to fill my spots for January. And I coach two new clients a month because I am an active principal. And so I want to make sure that I'm giving quality to my teachers and to my staff, and then also to the people that I serve with private VIP coaching. So I only do two clients a month. And so what was interesting was that for about 4 months, and I was in a lot of heartache with my breakup, I hadn't asked for any clients. I hadn't signed up anybody new. And my coach said, Aaliyah, go out there and do it. And I'm like, okay. So I'm proud to say that I exceeded the 2 discovery calls that I wanted to have. I've already filled one of my 2 spots for January, and it's simply because I showed up and I gave myself permission to do. And I said that prayer, what is next for me to do? And so before I in my last point, I want to pause for a second. Michelle, I'm so glad that you're showing up as well, but I want to hear from people. I'm going to give you guys two different things to be able to respond. So if you have something on your heart that you know that you've been avoiding asking that question, or that thing that you've been avoiding, that you've been waiting for somebody's permission to give you, just go ahead and put a 2. If you know that there is something that you really want to do, but you've been waiting for someone to be able to say, go ahead, boo, that's for you. Or yes, or you've been waiting for that vote of confidence for somebody, go ahead and put a 2. And then if I had just one brave soul to be able to tell me, what is that thing that has been on your heart that you've been waiting for permission for? And I'm asking that because when I say my prayers tonight, I want to make sure that you are included in my prayers. And I also want you, more importantly than about my prayers, I want you to hear it for yourself. What is that thing that is for you to do that you have not given yourself permission for? But you know it's more than that for me. What is it more? Is it more than that? Is it just for you saying, yes, this is on my heart to take action on? And I don't know the full 15-point plan, but I do know that there is one thing that's right beyond my comfort zone. Krista's joining. Thank you for joining us on Periscope. Luberta, I'm going to ask you, and this is going to be private for you, to start walking in your purpose. And I want you to say, and what is the next thing, just the very next thing that I need to do to walk in my purpose? So if you're not yet there yet for anybody, for example, for some people, walking in their purpose is showing up more regularly on live video. Maybe the thing is for you to put a quote a day for your social media groups. Maybe the thing to do to show up every single day is to send out that newsletter this week that you've been sitting on. Maybe that thing that you need to do as an educator is to be in that teacher's classroom, sitting next to them and giving them pointers. Maybe that thing to do is to walk around and say hi. Maybe that thing to do is to get an accountability partner and tell them, this is what I'm really holding myself to. Ooh, Michelle, am I talking to you? I'm talking to you. Maybe that thing for you to do is to say, let me stop talking about it, researching about it, reading about it, Googling about it, talking to all my friends and family, congregation, and staff about it. And maybe the thing to do is to actually get someone to work with me. You have the drive. You have, as an educator, I have drive. I have a teachable and learnable spirit, and you are showing up how. But I just need to set a war team. Yes, a war team is real. I have actually a war room in my building. We call it the war room, our conference room. And our war room is the place where we don't sit there and eat food and gossip. The war room is when you walk through that door, there's going to be strategy. There's going to be a timeline. There are going to be action steps. There's going to be accountability. And it's going to be low tech. It's going to be displayed on some Post-its. But believe me when I say that I'm writing it down, and we don't leave that room until it's hey Tina, hey Cynthia, until it's on our Outlook calendar. And the Outlook calendar says, this is when it's due to Aaliyah Mims, and this is what it is. And try me if you want to about not having it done. I don't care if you are my AP that I kick it with on a weekend, and I love you because we've been together since we have been teachers. I'm going to hold you accountable because I believe that much in you, and I will not allow you to shortchange your dreams. I want to be around high tech and goal-oriented people. So Xavier, here's your homework. You want to be around those people, so what are you doing to show up so those people can find you? Are you in groups? Are you networking? Have you gone to that lunch? Have you gone to that meeting? Or have you given yourself excuses about, oh, I can't go because my wife needs me, or this weekend I want you to figure out what is that next thing that you need to do so you can be around those people. That's what you've done it all. So, but you're not in my group. I don't see you over in my Soul Tribe for Leaders, because that's a 96 people strong of leaders who are about their business, both as educators and also leaders and entrepreneurs. So Xavier, we're on Facebook. If you do a search for Soul Tribe for Leaders or Aaliyah Mims Soul Tribe, then that's what we're going to do. Because if those things didn't work, then you can move on. It's prototyping. I shared this last time. And when things don't work, we're not going to sit back and say, oh, I'm sorry it didn't work. We're going to say, oh, okay, that was good information. This is what I can take from it. This is what I can discard. Let me move on to the next thing. We don't have our emotions in it. One of my favorite things, next time, can't you have a visual? I sure can. I will actually, maybe not next time, but I will do, when I do my trainings, I do the whole 9 with, PowerPoints and visuals and all of that. This is just tonight me showing up, but I will be happy to share with you when my next trainings are. And if you want to get on my mailing list, you're absolutely welcome to do that. bit.ly/Aaliyah Mims subscribe. The name of the list. Oh, I'm sorry. the name of my soul tribe. How about this, Xavier? I know that we're friends on Twitter, so I will go ahead and tweet you afterwards of how to get into my group. So thank you so much. And if anybody's in my comment sections and want to go ahead and type that, I would really appreciate it. It's Soul Tribe for Leaders. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm still with my Invisalign, so I have a slight lisp. I just tell myself I sound like Kerry Washington because I'm already a gladiator. I'm already showing up with my white hat. So I'm just taking it to the next level and having a lisp. You see how I did that? Y'all see how I just did that? Make lemonade out of lemons, right? So that's what I have for you guys tonight. And I'm going to do a quick recap because I just had a whole bunch of people join. I can either direct message it or either one. Either one. I got you, Xavier. Because we've been had some good energy over the last couple of weeks. So, quick recap. We don't need anybody's permission in order for us to walk fully. However, we've been waiting for permission. And this is how we know we've been waiting for permission. You've been waiting for permission because you've been playing small. We've been pretending that we're just humble. We have been not going to that next level because we don't want to ostracize the people that we care and love about. We haven't been going to that next level because we don't want people to think that we're being too masculine as women. We haven't been going to this next level because we've been saying, we've been telling ourselves that, if we do that, then people are going to think I'm all that. We haven't been going to this next level because we haven't been able to see 3,000 miles in front of us about what the end result's going to be. And we feel like we need to have a whole roadmap about how to get there. And so we have all of these reasons about how we've been playing small. And so what I've challenged people is to, instead of trying to get all the way to the end, one, be real about yourself that you've been waiting for someone to tell you it's okay for you to pursue that thing. Be real about that. And because it's that thing that's nagging in your heart. It's that thing that's been on your vision board for the past 5 years. It's that thing that you always talk about. Ooh, one day when I retire, when I get enough money, when my kids are old enough, when finally I pay off that debt, when I can get some money, when I have time, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. No. I'm going to let y'all in on a little bit of a secret because I'm not talking about anybody in here. I've had a few discovery calls over the last week. And some of them were telling me, I don't know what my purpose is. And so I just talked to them, I listened to them. And 100% of the time, and what they wanted was for me to tell them what their purpose was in my complimentary call. 100% of the time. 100% of the time, people knew exactly what their purpose was. They just needed somebody external to validate it and to tell them, yes, go walk in that purpose. I didn't tell anybody anything they did not know. They just wanted permission. So sometimes, 100% of the time, give yourself permission, because when you give yourself permission, then you open up the possibility of knowing what that next step is going to be. As long as you're standing behind the mirror, behind the screen, being scared to walk around and being scared to name what your purpose is, being scared to really own if that's what's in your true desire, you cannot identify what your next step is because you're using all of that energy, all of that fear, all that trepidation is blocking you from even realizing what that next step is. And once you say, you know what, damn it, I'm a life coach, I'm a teacher, I'm an artist, whatever it is that's in your heart, then you remove all of that energy, and you can put a little bit of your energy into that next thing, which is simply, what is the next step for me to take? You need permission? Reinhard Northington, you need permission? Here's some permission for you. Go be that thing. Go do that thing. Go serve that purpose. Go talk to that person and ask yourself this: what is the next thing for me to do? So I gave a number one. I said, number one, if I'm speaking to somebody tonight and I'm not talking about myself, I asked for number one. So I had some new folks on, so give me a number one if that was you and you haven't already. My number two thing was, you have something that's in your heart that you know you need to give yourself permission for. You haven't admitted it to anybody, but in reality, all of those ways that I described playing small apply to you, and you already know what you've been waiting for permission for. If that's you, give me a 2. I like crowd participation. Can y'all tell I was a teacher and an educator, and I've been in education for 17 years? I didn't say that part. 17 years, y'all. 17. It's crazy. So I know I look 17. So if you know that there's something that you need to, that you've been waiting to give yourself permission for, give yourself a 2. Now here's your number 3. Don't give yourself a 3 yet, because I'm going to tell you what the 3 is. It's really, really easy. 3 is, if you are going to say this prayer, write this journal prompt, visualize or meditate on this question: what is next for me to do? What is next for me to do? If you're going to pray, meditate, journal, or visualize about it, I need a number 3. What is next for me to do? You got it, Xavier. Thank you so much for typing it in. And I didn't say this before, so y'all, I really appreciate when people type in the notes, because when people either can't watch the replay, or when they do watch the replay, or they're coming back and they're just looking at the notes, it's really helpful for them to have it. What is next for me to do? If you're going to pray, meditate, journal, or visualize on that, you're going to give me a 3. So I have one more thing for somebody. If this is somebody in here, if it is somebody in here, and the next thing that you know that you need to do is to get a coach, and you need a coach, because let me tell y'all about what a coach does for you. A coach is somebody who has already walked the places that you're going to be. So they're going to get rid of all of that, oh, I'm going to research or Google or talk to 15 more people or blah, 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 blah. All of that crazy making that we do. A coach is someone who's able to say, this is your play, run this play, get that ball to the end of the field, and here are the results. That's what a coach does. They help streamline the process for you, and they also help tailor the process for you, because in 2017, we don't have time to keep playing small. So if you're ready to get someone to coach you, I invite you to apply for a complimentary session with me, so we can talk about what is it that you need to get some clear steps and strategy around, so that you can level up and we can stop playing this fake humble game that we've been talking about. You guys can do that by, you can apply for a session with me by going to bit.ly, that's L-Y, /Aaliyah Mims apply. So if somebody can type that down there, I would appreciate it. The A is capitalized, the M is capitalized, and the A in apply is capitalized. bit.ly /Aaliyah Mims apply. That's for whoever it is that's on this call tonight that know that they've been trying to do it themselves. Thank you so much, Krista. That's been trying to do it themselves. And the thing about doing it yourselves, y'all, is y'all not really researching. Y'all not really taking steps. You're not really training. That's crazy making. That's the busyness that we create in our lives to tell ourselves that we're taking forward action. And all it is fancy smokescreen. Because when we get to our levels, y'all, we get really good at busy making. If you are a mama, a parent, a sister, you get really good at cute busy making. We know how to flip them pages and Google and research and Wikipedia and write and tell ourselves I'm working on it. But all you're doing is the same thing as talking. You're not taking any action. So if that's somebody on here tonight, ooh, I got a surprise face because somebody knows I'm talking about them, then I expect to see your application. And I'm saying that because, y'all, I told you guys before, and so WD Surgeon, I said before that I'm only talking about the things that I have lived and the things that I have done. Y'all, I used to be so good. I'm the master. I'm the master at making you think that I'm working really hard when I'm researching and doing all this kind of stuff and DIYing it, when in reality it's just because I've been playing too small and I haven't been giving myself permission to level up. So thank you guys so much. And it seems to be that Sunday night is a good time for me to hop on here. I got a lot of participation. And for those of you guys that are watching this on a replay, make sure that you're in my group, Soul Tribe for Leaders, because that's where I show up most often. And also that's part of, the reason why I keep pushing my group, y'all, is because it's really an awesome community. It's a community of people that are all trying to go to the same place, which is walking fully in their position, power, and purpose. And there is nothing like having a group of like-minded people that come together and that are there to share resources, share lessons, rally behind each other, hold us accountable. And I expect to see at least 4 of y'all over there. Aaliyah Mims, Soul Tribe for Leaders, over on Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the comments. And if you're watching this on the replay and you have, please, if you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and leave your comments, because I will continue to show back here and respond. And if you're on my Periscope right now and you want to leave comments, you can tweet me at Aaliyah Mims, simple as that, and I will respond. Thank you guys. Did anybody get something? Xavier asked if there are a lot of men in the group. Xavier, there's about 3 men, but you know what? don't give yourself, don't look for a reason to not be there. It's not for female leaders. I'm looking for a place for people to show up. So if you think it's going to be something helpful, it's about you. It's about what you need. And it's about how you're going to take that next step. So you are very welcome to join. And did I help somebody tonight? Did somebody get something out of this? I'm seeing from the hearts and from the thumbs up and from the comments and from people that are showing up. I'm really, really glad. Thank you guys. Thank you, Takia. Thank you, Luberta. Thank you, Cynthia, Empress, Veronica, Jason, Krista, and I'm leaving out some names. Thank you guys for allowing me to walk fully in my purpose and do what's on my heart to do. You guys don't realize, and I say this to people, thank you, WD Surgeon. I need your real name next time so I can call you by your name, call you but what your mama call you. Thank you, Tina. I always say that people who have a calling to teach and lead. Thank you, Reinhardt. A lot of times walking in their purpose is also part of their healing. So thank you guys, because by you receiving my message tonight, and by you guys being here, thank you, Wendy, then you guys have allowed me another opportunity to heal as well, and for me to walk more fully in my purpose. And so we're all in this together. I look forward to seeing those of you guys that joined. Xavier said he joined. I look forward to seeing you guys that have applied, and I cannot wait to join you. As soon as I figure out what this week is going to look like, I'm going to give you guys my schedule for when I'm going to be on here. Xavier, I'm ready for you. I'm excited for you. I'm really excited for you. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you guys next time, same place, and with much love and leadership, position, power, and purpose. I'm out.